coming to you live. Let me welcome onto the Soul Stage tonight Kushela Naidoo. She's an environmentalist specialist and managing director of Wallace and Green, specializing in environment impact assessments and water use licenses for mixed-use developments, road infrastructure and industrial projects, as well as waste, water and coastal management projects. His duties are to ensure professional service underpinned by strong ethics and a well-developed team, manage and execute sustainable projects to client and authority requirements, implement business development and marketing, local, national, and international, and ensure the management of all projects and professional execution thereof by employees. He also sits on the Environmental Assessment Practitioners Association of South Africa panel of assessors. His current experience includes more than 20 years of environmental consulting. Kushela, good evening. Welcome, sir. How are you doing today?
Very good evening, Tich. Good to be here, and evening to your listeners as well.
Fantastic. First and foremost, congratulations on winning the Richard Fletcher Entrepreneur of the Year. Well done.
Thank you so much.
Tell us about Wallace and Green. What gap in the market were you determined to ensure you close as you got into the business?
I think getting into environmental, that stage, it still is a niche market. So that was the gap that we are looking for. And obviously, I studied this at university all the way up to a master's degree. So getting into that space, that bug bit me at an early age, even when I was still in school. Geography was my favorite subject. So we were in that space of studying and becoming an environmentalist. Climate change and all that became a big buzzword at that point. So that was where I said, I've always liked the environmental space. These are problems we want to solve, but also at that time to also increase the pool of environmental assessment practitioners from disadvantaged backgrounds as well.
Fantastic. So everybody knows that nowadays investment is about inclusion, empowerment, impact transformation. How does Wallace and Green deliver on these very important and strong pillars in business?
Just on what you mentioned on those three pillars, inclusivity is from our cleaning staff, employees, management, our service providers, the sub-consultants that we work with, as well as the communities that our projects serve as well. So we invest in our employees through our skills development program, as well as communities where our projects are based through our CSI and corporate project responsibility initiatives.
Okay, so building a business in South Africa is quite challenging. It's got some unique challenges. What were your biggest lessons when you were setting up business in SA?
Yeah, I think with building a business, especially with the failure rate that we have in South Africa, it is a daunting task. But I guess for me, perseverance is something that stands out, and the biggest lesson, that never give up attitude when you fail. And yes, we failed. I've failed a couple of times in projects, in business, but those are the things in terms of you always persevere. Never sell yourself short. What I've learned through the business is that you are your biggest promoter. There's nobody going to speak about your business as much as you do and what you offer. So never sell yourself short in terms of your capability. I also say resilience, and I say that tongue in cheek because as much as a lot of people say South Africans are very resilient, and that comes from, we went through the COVID pandemic, the KZN riots, the March, the KZN floods. So yes, we were resilient, but at the same time, we put on this face of resilience. But as a business owner, inside you also crying. So yeah, that was some of the biggest lessons that I had that has built me as an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And as somebody who received the awards for the 25th award session that celebrated sustainability, how are you planning to build this business to last and create jobs beyond a 5-year period?
In terms of creating jobs, well, Wallace and Green currently has a number of vacancies. A lot of them are specialist vacancies as well. So whilst we're growing the business in terms of resources, capability, experience, but we wanting that to also tackle international projects. So whilst we have a national footprint within South Africa, as in offices in Joburg, Cape Town, and head office being Durban, we building that team as well to tackle those international projects. I think what has also in terms of enterprise growth, I worked at my first company was Stuart Scott International, and they were an international engineering firm that when I left there, we are celebrating 90 years. So I'm wanting to establish, I brought the same principles and concepts from there when I started Wallace and Green, so that we are not looking at short term. I'm looking to build on that decade kind of experience.
Yeah. So you're part of the next phase of transformation. What does meaningful economic inclusion look for in your industry?
I think for me, economic inclusion is giving the platform to others to grow in business, be it our employees, our specialists, our sub-consultants, exposing those consultants to the full project life cycles and a variety of projects. So we don't give a person a specific type. Let's say you're working on a roads project or you're working on a water project. I think what I look at is in terms of economic inclusion is giving you that opportunity to build yourself, grow yourself, that we're creating that generational entrepreneurs. So in terms of transformation, we also look at the communities that our projects are based in. A lot of our projects are infrastructure. So as part of Wallace and Green, we give a mandatory corporate project responsibility of 3 to 5% of that project value. And that's where we also include the communities economically in our projects.
Fantastic. So, Kushela, please stay with us. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these words. Welcome back. This is Soul Stage. My guest today is Kushela, and we're talking about environmentalism. What role did mentorship, partnership, or support systems play in helping you get to this point and doing well in your business?
Talking about mentorship, I think it's played a great role, Tich. I mean, I'm talking like 15 years back, my mentor at that time was Moses Tembe, quite an established black businessman in South Africa. So he was a comrade of my dad. And when I approached him, I said, Bramos, I'd like you to be my mentor. So that really started the mentorship journey for me, and I think it's molded me to this point in a lot of ways. I still remember one of the end of my mentorship session, and we did for about 2 years, and he said, "Kushela, you don't need mentorship, you just need opportunities." And that resonated because he could see the drive, the hunger, the ability to grow. We just needed opportunities at that time. And I think also in my involvement with I'm an executive member of the KZN International Business Association and a board member of the Global Businesswomen's Chamber of Commerce and Industry. That in itself, you interact and you partner with captains of industry, if you may call it. And they also helped me to get this to this point. But I think the biggest influence, which started from a young age, was definitely my dad. Only because he belonged to 18 non-NGO, non-governmental organizations. So the customary thing of giving back has started with me from a young age. And watching him and how he did it selflessly definitely helped. I mean, that was my support system in terms of, as you said, getting to this point.
Well, as a businessman, how do you balance scaling the business with staying connected to your purpose and being responsible?
Well, my purpose is to drive environmental sustainability in our country. But to allow me to do that, I need to ensure that my team is skilled and experienced to run with their projects. So I'm big on employee mentorship to upskill them. It's almost to be a clone of myself about 5 times over. So that is where I try to strike the balance. We don't always get it right. But yeah, that definitely is. So you can work on the purpose while business is still growing.
So you have received quite a number of awards, and it's to celebrate innovation and leadership. What is the one bold decision you made that changed your trajectory in business?
I think to change the business, I basically started a specialist division. I think that was when we needed to be innovative, especially since there was a number of one-man show environmental consultancies mushrooming up. And when legislation changed in our country, so I used that as an opportunity to start a specialist division where we got in our in-house ecologist, wetland specialist, climate change specialist. So we are moving more into the niche space, and that definitely flourished and created. Now those divisions are self-sufficient. And another recent bold decision was to open our Cape Town office. So we did that in February this year. We were operating in the Cape Town area for a couple of years. So we were working together with those clients. But I think what changes that, and Cape Town is also a city or a municipality as well, that you don't really need to give a handout to get work. It's based solely on credibility. And then the city of Cape Town recognized our efforts and said, well, we want to work with you all more often. We just needed that local presence. And yes, that has changed the trajectory of the business.
Fantastic. Kushela, a lot of people really are not cognitive of the fact that the environment is big business. How do you think you can increase awareness for young people who may tomorrow want to be like you?
Well, Tich, we are a company that is big on mentorship. I mean, I started mentorship back at the UKZ, and I used to mentor masters and honors students. And that ran for about 5 to 6 years up until COVID came, and that made it difficult. So we used to mentor these students on because nobody knew what environmental consulting was about. So at a young age, we take on young and junior staff. We train them up. I don't really take on experienced staff. Yes, it comes at a high salary package as well, but I focus a lot on young staff. We give those opportunities. And reason why I consider Wallace and Green a company of mentorship. And we've had some of the big multi-international companies that have actually taken our stuff. And whilst it's sad that you lose good experience resources, you feel happy in knowing that you're creating opportunities for young employees where the big multi-international companies are recognizing them and taking them on. So yes, I think that's how we creating opportunities for young people at Wallace and Green.
How about the most difficult thing that a lot of SMEs face on a daily basis? That is access to funding and marketplaces. How can you help young people, get it right?
Yes, access to funding is very difficult. I am aware of a lot of initiatives that there is for SMMEs and startups. But the thing is, especially some of the young people that are coming through, they don't know how to access. I think we need to get more exposure on it. The training needs to happen, especially in terms of the red tape and the administrative documentation is daunting. So definitely we need to upskill that. Um, yeah.
Well done. So you were recognized alongside the likes of SABC, Sasol, Koyega, Mondi. These are big players in the industry. How did that make you feel?
It was almost it was like a wow full circle moment. I think standing on that stage, or actually still at the table when they called your name, especially being a finalist was a cherry on the top, but to win, that was never expected, especially amongst the caliber of finalists. So it really created a full circle moment, and although as much I don't go looking for the recognition, but to have these efforts acknowledged, that is a testament to our drive for empowerment and transformation, especially in a sector that is still largely undergoing transformation. I mean, and that is what it meant to me. To the Wallace and Green team, I think it was like winning the World Cup because we have a lot of our staff are big soccer supporters. So when they saw that, it was the phones was buzzing. When I got you, we had celebratory parties, and yeah, to see the team quite amped and proud of our achievement, that was really wonderful to see.
Who do you think is going to win the World Cup this year?
Well, Spain. So
Spain,
they've
not
been
France.
doing it nicely. Yeah. I think Spain's knocking France out here.
Let's see what happens
So we're not going to
tomorrow.
get a repeat. We're
You
not
know what I
going to get
mean?
a repeat of the last
I
World
hear
Cup
you.
final. It's going to be a Spain-Argentina final this time.
Okay, let's see how it goes. All right, so tell me, what is the next step for Wallace and Green? What are you planning to build in the next 24 months, thereabout?
Well, I think the focus has already been to drive the Cape Town office, so that is already happening, going quite well. And then as well, growing the specialist part of our team, the climate change division. There's a lot of international funding coming into South Africa for that kind of work. So we're hoping to capitalize on that. And that may be the new growth spurt for Wallace and Green is within the climate change, carbon footprint resilience space.
Okay. The Nedbank Top Empowerment Conference is about knowledge exchange. What insight would you like to share with other entrepreneurs trying to build investment and sustainable businesses such as the one that you have?
As entrepreneurs, we have that unique opportunity to create solutions, generate opportunities, and make meaningful impact in our communities. So, in terms of businesses, it's more of taking the opportunities by the horns. It's not always easy, but it's something that we have to do, especially in the communities that we work in. So, yeah, that would be the best that I can advise.
Thank you so much for having joined me tonight, Kushela. I wish you only the best. You're doing great things for the community. One last question. What legacy do you hope to leave many, many years from today?
Knowing that we made an impact pitch, I think not just in the environmental space, yes, to promote environmental sustainability in projects. I mean, that's the easiest way. We're not policymakers, but in our projects. And as I said, a lot of our projects is infrastructure driven. So growing communities, giving them access to water, to electricity, to roads. That is the kind of legacy I would want Wallace and Green to be known for, but also to grow their employees, to give them that opportunity. They mustn't just see that this as a job. It's almost like this is my stepping stone to success.
My brother, thank you so much for having joined us tonight. Wish you all the best. You're doing some great stuff. We need the environment. Can't do without it.
Thank you so much, Tich. Have a good evening.
My very special guest tonight, Kushela Naidoo. He's an environmentalist and a specialist, and he's the managing director of Wallace and Green, an award-winning businessman, right here on Channel Africa.